we lost everything. We had to pay the price. I saw in you what life was missing. You lit a flame that consumed my hate. I'm now one for reminiscing, but I traded all for your sweet embrace. 'Cause we lost everything. We had to
Hey, hey.
pay the price.
Hope you guys are all having a good one. I'll quickly turn down the music.
There's a canvas with two faces, a fallen angels who loved and
Yeah.
lost. It was
I'm gonna be pretty much back to assessments. I don't start back. I'm still on break. But I got some assessments to do. So you guys are actually pretty lucky. I was not purposely timing it. My timing is actually completely off. I've sort of prioritized things a bit differently. But you guys are pretty lucky because I'm now starting my practical side of things for one of my projects now, today. So I guess you guys will be seeing me start that. As opposed to what I was planning on doing on Monday, but then ended up being pretty busy. This week's been a little bit crazy. I was gonna start the interactive aspect of my research paper, and then on Monday, but then I'm like, I'm like, there's a bit more writing that I want to do, so I'll go do a bit more writing, and then that was my Monday, and then come Tuesday I was gonna do it, but then I had work, and then it was Wednesday that I was gonna do some, and then what was just gonna be a half day turned out to be a whole day meetup with the team, so nothing. And then today's Thursday, so a little bit late. I was planning on getting this done by the end of the holidays, but I'd say I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with the project anyway. So and having asked a couple of the other team members and stuff, I think I'm actually in a pretty good spot. So yeah. Oh, let me bring my camera up. I mean, I've done quite a bit. I still need to do the introduction stuff. Ignore this. This 1,000 words is actually just made up of all these. So I need to do maybe an intro. I'm not too sure. We got something that we got to hand in. And I'm not too sure if they want an introduction for that, but we're gonna get peer feedback, so it's gonna be quite a bit for them to feedback for me. But I mean, got this paragraph, and this. Now, I'm all pretty happy with these. I think I might add to this one a little bit. This one's definitely unfinished. I was doing a bit of this. If I remember correctly, this one's only about 150 words. But this one's like, I've only done sort of like the start of it. And I want to go into a lot. I'm just talking about dynamic. So I got like only like really one example at the moment. And I want to find an academic, and I have an academic source, I think, for it. Somewhere around here. Yeah, dynamic lighting. So I just need to go into here, find what they said about dynamic lighting and see if I can bring that into my thing. I wasn't actually going to write this. This was a very much last minute. I was at work on Tuesday, and I'd like written all these, which is enough. Like my goal was for 1,000 words for like research aspects. And then I had already hit in about 1,150. And then I'm just like, I could do dynamic lighting. I think that's something worth doing. Some of the other ones that I was doing, I've only found like one source that was covering dynamic lighting, and it's a bit of an older source. So, I guess dynamic is something that you see often in games now. So, oh well. So I think it might be worth covering. And then I do have this other 500 word, but I think I can like cut this one down because I don't really want to talk 500 words about examples of lighting in video games and how it's done successfully. I think I'm going to struggle with that. Considering I'm sort of doing that in here, it might be a wasted thing. So if I can write another like 300 words here, then I could do maybe like a 200 words there. That balances it out. So it's still the 500 words. I'm still have everything set around this being about 500 words. But then if I do maybe 300, 350 words here, then I can do 200 words here and it still equates to the same amount. And I can do more. I probably wouldn't want to do too much less because I'm still cutting it pretty close. But if I do about the same or more, I'd be pretty happy. And then I think I'm going to hit over 400 words. I was writing this today, so I'm not done. As you can see, and a chunk of this is actually me just writing what I need to remember. So yeah, this is currently 250 words. And my goal was 400. I could definitely hit 400 for this. I've sort of like roughly talked about my scenes, but I haven't talked about like why I'm doing the scenes, also like that sort of background and stuff. And then I got my hypothesis and stuff. We got a lot to do. We got a lot, but I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I don't think I know anybody who's really started, actually. So, in the context where a lot of people haven't really started, me being this far in is quite good, actually. Philippe, you stink. So before I do anything, I think I'm going to do some kind of minor touch-ups. Something in Marmoset for maybe like 30 minutes to no more than an hour, and then we'll get started on the assessment. Philippe, you're jealous, Philippe. You could be doing this for me, actually. It's my research paper. I'll co-pilot you. I don't even have co-pilot, I don't think. I do have co-pilot, that's crazy. I don't even want to open it, I gotta be honest. I'm not even on I've never used it and I don't plan to ever use it. Partially backed up? What does that mean? April the 10th. What's it backing up, I wonder? Backed up. Quick access apps. Thing is, I don't use GPT either. What version am I on? Oh, I am on 24H2. That's not good. That will be why I have Copilot. I thought I never did that, so it must have just randomly installed itself on. It would explain why I have Copilot, even though I thought I didn't. Walk tomorrow or on Saturday? Well, probably definitely not tomorrow, so it'll have to be Saturday, if anything. Define early. 10. Oh, okay, well maybe no walks until next week. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I'm assuming you're busy on Sunday then. This is your fault. You keep taking in bloody work. I'm busy. All of tomorrow, I'm going to be in another meeting. You said you were free on stream on Saturday. No, on Sunday. And then you decided, no, I'm going to pick up work instead. Betrayed. And then... Oh. And then decided to betray me. I want to do 3 colors. Hold on. Meetings aren't work. Yeah, but they're kind of important, so... Especially considering some of the team members didn't appear. But people will appear this time, because some of them didn't appear last time. And... yes, I was there at the meetings when people didn't appear. I'm not stopping you, buddy. I am not letting you in. You're not allowed in the chat, that's the difference. There's something that I might ask in the... No, that's it. Anyway, I'm pretty happy how we're looking here. The only other thing would be... Um, this is the only thing that this one's missing is more smart masks. I don't think you would be able to. Oh. That's a bit kind of cool there. We'd probably get like a Jarrett there. Anyway, that's not what I'm after. This isn't bad. I feel like moisture directional is going to be the closest. Uh-huh. And we really need it to be triplanar. Awesome. I see. Overlay. Hold on, I might be. Okay. It's not really what I'm after though. I feel like we're not far off that. Not bad. Not entirely. It's very close to what I want, but not entirely there yet. What is it? We'll see. Oh, let's go. Hold on. What is that? Where did I add that? I'm trying to add this here. Lazy. Being added here. Like need a spherical projection. Without it, with it. I feel like that's an improvement. But it gives it that, like, almost like spelt look. Anything I would want is add a paint layer. Got that. Can I like turn it to like a negative? Adds upon. Okay, so that works. Okay, that's interesting.
There's a canvas with two faces, a fallen angels who loved and lost. It was
Let's remove some of these.
ages, but in the end, guess we paid the cost.
Hey, Strawberry Bunny Queen, how's it going? Meow to you too. Done a bit of work. String a jug. Got me long. I wasn't gonna spend long on this, but I feel like I'm gonna end up spending a bit long. I was planning to. I had an issue. I have come up with a fix for the issue, and then it's maybe gonna path the way to me being able to figure out an issue that I was having. Yeah. Just trying to think about the way that I want. I think I'm gonna, that's weird. Into the triangles. Anyway. Sorry, let me quickly. How you doing though? Okay, I'm doing decent myself. Being pretty busy, but I plan on starting a new section to an assessment that I'm working on. So in that department, I think that's pretty good. So to explain an issue that I've had with this program, Marmoset, when texturing this, is, so this white stuff, the only reason I have it as white is because it's visible against like the more darker blue color. I have it where I want, but let's just say I want to add more visual interest to it. Because let's say it's super repetitive or something. What I want to do is I want to subtract these white areas with another mask, and that's going to give an even more different result. So let's say I had like a splotchy one like this one. I can remove like dots or something like that. I wish to figure that one out. It's how I approach that is next thing, because of course you can see if I add it to it, it's not doing anything. And then as you'd usually go, there'd be like a minus and stuff. But of course you're not going to get that with these, so you can get like an addition. But I want to remove it by these dots, for example. This isn't the approach that I was wanting before. I came out with a different approach of doing it, using some procedural stuff. But interesting. So this color burn actually does like sort of the invert, which actually gives me kind of that sort of result that I was wanting. It's how I approach these little dots here. Oh, that's not really the way that I wanted to go. Yeah. Going here isn't gonna remove it either. Never mind. Well, that was gonna give me the result that I'm after, but alright, I'm gonna quickly record a video mid-stream, just because I want to see if I can figure out the answer to this. So I'm not too sure. So if you hear me say something, really, if you popping in now, it's gonna make no sense what I'm saying. Alright, I'm sorry about this. Let me just quickly record. Let me hide my webcam as well. I'm running into this issue with texturing in Marmoset. So let's just say I want these spots, right? I got these spots, I could go like UV or whatever. And I'm trying to like remove portions of it. The way that I'd approach this in Substance would be I'd have the spots and then I want to like procedurally sort of remove them. What I'd do generally is I'd get like an alternative mask, for example, dirt mask or whatever. And then I'd use a subtract blend mode, and I'd just subtract that from the original thing. And so it's of course going to hide away, I guess, the parts. It's going to subtract the parts that this mask is using, right? Of course, that becomes an issue, oopsies, because there's no subtract blend mode. I'd assume it's not because one of these are meant to be a subtract. I have found that I think one of these, I think it's either color or linear burn, can give a similar approach, but it's still like there's, you know, I would have thought potentially, you know, if I inverted the mask, maybe that would do something. Nope. Because if I'm painting with a brush, right, let's say I was going over here, I added a mask, I don't know, I think white mask, is this the one? No, which one is it? Maybe it's black mask. I don't quite remember. Yeah, there we go. Black mask. If I use a black mask, I can manually remove it, but I can't really go about doing that. Even if I shove this. Okay, we're done. I've answered my own question. Luckily. As we can see here. It's not like the greatest result, of course, but it's giving me enough of a result that I'm relatively happy with it, so we take that. Okay, that was what I was after, honestly. So what it was is you sort of have to put it within another. It needs to be a mask of itself, which is a bit weird. It's just a different workflow, and it's always just figuring out what in particular it is. Okay, what I'm gonna also do, add a new fill layer. Assume I'm not gonna be able to do this, but I don't want to. I just want to see if I gotta add the mask. I think it's Bump is the one that I'm after. Not Bump? Sorry, is it normal? Nope. That's trippy. I'm not too sure what Scatter does, to be honest. Oh! It actually is doing something. Maybe if I put it over here. Anyway, let me get it sort of like where I'm pretty happy with this. I might go back to the triplanar though. So I don't want to see. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily want this, you know. But I feel like it could be something kind of cool. Yeah, what the fuck is that doing? Obviously not the result that I'm after. I mean, the alternative, which I'd hate to do, would be going like that and trying to merge it there, but not at all what I want. Something that I'd do. How would I... Oh, you can add a mask that way. Oh, that's what I've been wanting. Group layer. Let's see what we can add. is like a full-on procedural scratch thing. It's giving me a result that I'm not the fan of. What is this? Just adding to the scratches. I'm not too sure. Maybe I don't do this. Maybe I don't do this. And there's something that I'm a bit lost on. That's cool, hold on. We're just fucking around at the moment. I'll sort of give it its own like material. Let's go. And then you get the bump from that. So I might actually be doing something wrong here. Sorry, let me search up. Not searching, but drip. And all the drips there. Yo, nerd, hope you've had a good day. I'm here just gooming as a vampire, you sneaky vampire. I've been alright. Just doing some more work on this before I get started up on the next part of my assessment. What'd you get up to today? I don't actually know what this is doing. And it's just dirt. It actually adds stuff. Hold on. Oh! Oh, that was bad. Bad on my man. Yeah, so it's with this bump map. And when I use scratches, it like replaces it almost. Then oddly, that turns it all off, but then that only turns that one off. Putting 2 with the bump is giving me a bit of an odd result, but I can work with it. Okay, here we go. And I could add, like, for example, let's see if we can work with that thing that I uncovered. All right. Rid of that dirt thing that I was using. Dirt set. What? Or maybe I gotta go the reverse way. Here we go. And now it's just, oh, fuck me. Almost like inverted as well. And then it's not even like impacted really by this. Oh, sort of. Oops. Before, after. Oh, I don't know if I want these, and it's still interacting really weirdly, unfortunately. So I feel like that's almost too much. Maybe the alternative, like showing that. These are small cracks. I feel like we're getting even too much, to be honest with these. Okay. Oh. Cracks. No cracks. Cracks. No cracks. I'm debating it. What do you guys think? I don't know. I wait for somebody to respond. Green. Then we're gonna go like in a more natural color. Yeah. I just randomized some of these, I think. We'll get some cool. Easy. Difference. Let's go. I don't know why I turned that off. Actually, that kind of looks better there anyway. Let me see. Where are these dots coming from again? Ah, here we go. Where's this dirt? Here we go. I think these are all pretty different. Like that.
'Cause we lost everything. We had to pay the price.
There we go. So blue. What's that from? Oh, oops, dirt.
I saw in you what life was missing. You lit a flame that consumed
Oh, I
my
see.
hate. I'm now one for reminiscing, but I traded all for your sweet embrace.
I see. Okay, so blue,
'Cause we lost everything.
green, natural. I'm pretty happy with those.
We had to pay the price.
Of course, these would be 2K.
There's a canvas with two faces.
This is what it's actually gonna look like.
Fallen angels who loved and lost. It was a passion for the ages, but in the end, guess we paid the
I think we could.
cost.
So much longer than I was wanting to.
A thing of beauty, I know, will never fade away. What you did to me, I know.
So one thing that I can do.
Said what you had to say, but a thing of beauty
Like this.
will never
Let's go PNG, not. Oh,
I see your eyes, I know you see me. You're like a ghost, you're everywhere. I'm your demon, never leaving. A metal soul of rage and fear.
oh no, where you can change the export size.
That one thing that changed it all.
Shit.
That one thing that caused
What?
the fall.
I think I exported them as TGs instead on accident.
Beauty, I know, will never fade
Yeah.
away. What you did to me.
I thought because that was overall, but let me.
Say what you had to say, but a thing of beauty, I know, will never fade away. And I'll do my duty, I know. Somehow I'll find a way.
Holy, that's taking a lot longer.
Will never fade away. And
Green. Got these. Awesome. 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 These are looking good. I'd forgotten that I'd turned off my camera. Anyway, how's the texturing going? Pretty good. I've just finished. It took a little bit longer than I was planning. I was doing a couple of testing to some good and some bad results. So, yeah. A couple different things that I need to understand that I don't. So, I don't know if it's because I'm doing something wrong or. Hold on. Hey, there's Dupe. No, they came out pretty good though, I think. I just gotta remember these, Roughness, middleness, and I believe occlusion. Oh yeah, thank you, thank you. I'll look even more 6 in a minute. We don't need all the different mixes, nor the different normals. This is called optimization. Look, we've only got these maps because the got. Actually, never mind. I did need those. I lied. Huh? I forgot that I was smart. I can. It depends on which way we'd want to go, but I did change up some of the stuff to give them randomization. I forgot that I did that. Okay, that is the right one. Rough, middle. I'm not gonna render this out today, but I just wanted to get like a and this is gonna. I will put this on my actual website that I'm making, but I'm just setting it up so I have that. Okay, now I gotta remember roughness, metalness. Occlusion. Metalness. Occlusion. Hold on. There was actually something, I did download this, but I never ended up using it. So you can kind of like batch export, so I could like batch that one. Sorry that I'm like, oh, doing this. They'd probably hide that, honestly. Netrule. I named it Netrule. So the way that this would work, you see. So we've got these 3 different cameras. I kind of wish that these sort of hit it. So this is... Let me actually move. I must do maybe a square render for this one. So we got like render 1 or render 3, I guess. Render 2. Then render 1. Except render 1 is gonna have them move further back like that. I'll render this out at some point. Anyway, let's effectively that. Hell yeah. Thank you, thank you. I might regret this. That's a new project, I think. Ask you what you got up to today, Amy. What happened to the last one? Wow. We got a new project. I don't need that actually. Research project, first person. I'll grab that. I don't think I'm gonna need all the extra mumbo jumbo. I think the thing is I'm worried I only want this is good. I want to add this to this new project that I'm doing. But I don't want the other project because I know that's going to be super big download size. So I'm hoping that this just isn't going to use up so much storage because my storage is like getting drained effectively. Was it? I know it's gonna have to download more stuff, so it sucks. Because then I'm just like re-downloading the assets even though I already have them downloaded just in a different project, but oh well. Just hoping that's not sucking through all my stuff. Sorry, I just got stuff on the side. This is not docking. You Unreal Engine. You sometimes frustrate me. Why can that not work? Oh, yeah, well that works. So I may have run into an issue. Let's see. Oh no, we're fine. Have to make my level out of some of these, I guess. I can probably do that. What's this? So I know what I want to do for this. Ow. Like, I know that I want to go effectively like that to that to that is like my overarching level. So what I'm gonna do. It's fine. Good. Whoopsies. I didn't realize I was going to do that. Trying to be silly. And then, what thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do an outline as well.
We lost everything. We had to pay the price. I saw in you what life was missing. You lit a flame that consumed my hate. I'm now one for reminiscing, but I traded all for your sweet embrace. 'Cause we lost everything. We had to pay the price. There's a canvas with two faces, a fallen angels who loved and lost. It was a passion for the ages, but in the end, guess we paid the cost.
Oh, that's really big.
A thing of beauty, I know, will never fade away. What you did to me, I know. Said what you had to say, but a thing of beauty will never fade away. Will never fade away.
Awesome.
Send that caused the fall. A thing of beauty, I know, will never fade away. What you did to me, I know.
It's making a scene plot out, you know what I mean?
So what you had
Um,
but a thing of
what do you call this?
will never fade away. And under my Julie, I know. Somehow I'll find a way, but a thing of beauty will never fade away. And under my Julie will never fade away. Will never fade away.
What do you call it? Sweet. Wrong one, vertical slice. Oh, not vertical slice. Game studies. What I named? Oh no, I made a mistake. I already know it. I did that in the wrong place. This, whatever this is called. Okay, just moving around the old shit. Seems it doesn't have the things over. Everyone's. I may have accidentally doubled and sold it. Oh well. That's fine. Can't be in this scene. Sorry if you hear music. My parents in the other room, like next to me. There's like a TV and stuff, so I don't know if you guys hear it. Maybe it is. No, never mind. It's coming together. I need to get a haircut so badly. I was gonna get one today, but then I was getting oh. But I was getting I don't know. I was like I wanted to work on these things instead, you know. Benicia, I'm sorry. You're gonna get itched. Okay. And itch. Like I'm sorry. You're still just trying to get up to the point to beat Dracula, Amy? Yep. I've been missing this. This being Unreal Engine. Wondering why nothing was happening. What? I might enlarge it more, but that's not too bad. That'll be what I do for today. With that, so I got rough blockout done. Rough blackout and scene plan. That's about all I'm going to be doing for this. What? That work. I will. But anyway, when I want to in stream. I'll bring that one up. Okay, that should be pretty good. What do I do? So here's the thing, I got a meeting tomorrow with the team, which kind of frustrates me, because unfortunately now one of our team members is busy in the afternoon, and then it turns out two of our team members are busy in the afternoon. So we go from going to have... It's just a bit frustrating, because it seems everyone's kind of mellowed out over this holiday or something. Because we're just like, you know, we're just like, okay, during the holidays, we'll see if we can get some of that written work done, and we'll come up with a solid idea of what we're going to be doing for our team, for our game, sorry. And then, you know, I'm like, okay, I'll give everybody the first week. Apparently, people are going to be pretty busy, and I was pretty busy the first week, so I'll give everyone first week off and do your other assessments. Second week, I message everybody, I think either Friday or some point in the weekend. Just like, hey, what days are you free? And it's like, okay, well, it seems like the only days that we're going to be free is... that everybody seems to be free is the Wednesday and the Friday. Okay, well, that's going to be hard to get a lot of what we want done between just the Wednesday and the Friday. And then, you know, I asked, you know, when everybody was free, and then it turns out, you know, not everybody's free those days either. So even though they responded, yes, I'm free, or some people just didn't even respond, and it's like, please, dude. I'm not doing this because I necessarily want to. We need to come up with an idea, because we finished. Here's the issue: we struggled to figure out what we're going to be doing with the game and what we're going to be choosing. It's very frustrating. I understand that people get busy, but don't say that you're free, or you know, don't say that you're free and then not be free. And then don't not respond, because I'd rather you just say I'm busy every day than not respond, and then also just not even, you know, you just like fucking nothing. So, if this fucking breakers what, dude, we had issues last term with the team. And then the thing is we just cannot. And dude, I'm doing my best, but some people just don't want to be helped. I don't know. We'll see where we end up going with this team game. We're getting some decent ideas, but it's just there's so much to it, like. And it's just like, so, like, you know what I mean? Like, I won't say whom, but we have one member who is constantly like, yeah, I'm sure we'll get through it, but it's just never gonna go as good as you want it to. And it's not like I'm fucking expecting a lot. I'm not expecting too much because I'm like compensating, and I know that even though I'm compensating, it's not gonna be compensating enough. You know what I mean? So oh, it's not gonna let me. I gotta go. This is like, for example, we got like one team member who has been kind of hopeless in terms of turning up, and then he'll be like, you know, he'll do something wrong, right? Like, not like what we're asking him to do. And then it will be like, the only reason, and it's just like, he obviously misinterpreted shit, okay? And you look back, and it's like, he hasn't been there for any of the discussions, or when we're discussing all these things. And he's always late, because we had like the original discussions of what game we're going to be doing, and then every pretty much morning to every session, you know, where are you guys at? How are you guys going? You know, we're going to be working on these today. He missed the original discussion. That's like it's not good, but it is what it is. But then at the start of every session, you know, you're discussing, you know, what everyone's doing and what you're trying to achieve. But he'll be late, so it's just like, fuck. Okay. Then he'll misinterpret some stuff because you're trying to tell him retroactively, I guess, what to do. And then he ended up doing some stuff wrong. It was kind of annoying, and it frustrated him, and it frustrated everyone else. And then it's just like, I feel like it's going to be the same fucking situation again. The thing is he's not going to pass, and it might also impact our ability to pass because of it. And we tried to tell the teachers multiple times, and the teachers are like, no, it's fine. Well, we've seen other teams get it done with 5 team members. But the issue is that we're struggling with 5 team members because of these sorts of issues. So it's just like, fuck. Because we've effectively got one coder, effectively. But no. And so it's like I'm trying to get help from my members in the holidays so we can, because the holidays, it's your holidays, right? There's bound to be at some point in the holidays. I was working the holidays as well, like full days, full-time working. There were times that I were free, even if it was the weekend day. You know, it could have been the Saturday and Sunday. You're not going to be working 7 days a week, right? There's no way you're working 7 days a week. Even if you are working 7 days a week, there's bound to be some time after work that you're free. Yep. But some people just don't want to be helped, so we're going to be doing a team meeting on Friday, and 2 of our members are going to be leaving in the afternoon. There's a mango. How's it going? We are working on... I don't think I can say too much yet, because this one's our actual game that we're working on. But imagine a horror game. We're going to be doing a horror game. We've done a, what do you call it? A prototype of it. But I'm just debating how much I want to say in regards to it. And don't worry, it's something that I'm just a bit, I haven't really put much thought into it. I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff in regards to it, but I'm just debating how much I want to say, just because this is our, what do you call it? We're actually going to be going for this. Every other project we've done thus far have kind of just been under the wraps of, it's, what do you call it? It's study stuff. But then I think this one, like, you know, we're going to be uploading onto Steam, and we're doing like full staff and hopefully full marketing and whatnot for this one. I don't know how much I want to say publicly. We'll see. I know what I plan on doing though is at some point once we get into a bit further. I've been debating whether when I want to start this, but I'm going to be creating a YouTube channel for it and hopefully uploading some videos and maybe some other social media. So hopefully we can sort of start building a community and asking other people, you know, hey, what do you want to see, and stuff like that, and sort of get like a gauge, you know, if the amount of people that could be interested in our project. I think, but all I'll say is I'll give you 3 keywords of what it's going to be, and that's probably where I'll probably leave it for now. Also, on the other side is because this is all up in orders. This is, you know, we're going to be doing a big discussion on it, hopefully, on Friday, but it seems like a lot of people are going to be missing. So, we're going to have to probably push back the full-on discussion. But, 3 keywords: horror, single player, and another one would be like maybe phasmophobia or detective sort of stuff. I don't know. Phasmophobia is a reference that we're using. Yeah. Hopefully it should be cool though. Hopefully. It's a bit of a struggle. We're a very small team, and yeah, there's a you know, a variance in commitments between stuff. I mean, we haven't really started, but I'm an artist, right? So there's 3 of us that are artists, and there are 2 of us that are coders. So a bit of quite a small team. And then I'll probably just be doing an environment. I mean, you know, none of us are like particularly, like, we're all the same role per se. So we're all 3D artists, wanting to be 3D artists and stuff like that. Mostly like environmental prop area. I mean, I'll probably cover if we need textured creation. I'm probably one of the better ones at textures. VFX would be kind of probably a bit of me. And one of our other team members, most models will probably be me. We'll see. And I will possibly stream myself working on some of these projects, at least for the vertical slice, but I think once I come to... a small team is good too, though, because you don't need to communicate too much. Yeah. I think I completely agree with you there. I think we're reaching that point where we're almost maybe too small, because one of our coders is kind of like here or there, unfortunately. And so it's becoming like one coder, and then that one coder is like, listen, I'm down to do like most of the work here, but then also I'm not doing all the work here. Like that's kind of bullshit. Like coding wise, not. It's just like we're like doing everything to get this other coder to help us. Yeah, it's a school related project, so it's you know, you fail this and you have to restart the year. So it's not something that you want to fail, and we really shouldn't be, you know, having to push him, unfortunately. It's not that he doesn't want to do it, it's just his commitments are definitely, you know what I mean? Yeah, for school. But we're going to, this one's going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be. So it is full on online release, but it's via school. So, what do you call it? We are on our 3rd year. It's our final year for our bachelor's. And it's, yeah, both. So, as part of that bachelor's, you work on a game for maybe like a couple, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's maybe around like 7 months or something, if I were to guess. 6 months. So a bit of it, I think maybe, yeah, about maybe 6 months. And then you can upload it. Like, there's no reason to spend 6 months working on a project and then not uploading it. But it does range. Some of the past projects from the school, some people just posted on itch. And then some people posted on itch and Steam, and some just Steam, and then I think almost everybody's uploaded it. I don't think I've seen too many teams just not upload it. I don't. That one's generally not worth it. But we will be on Steam, and I'm not too sure about itch. If we were to do itch, the itch would be for testing. But I'd imagine, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas, and I can't really answer everything because it's all super distant. But there's like ideal things. Like I ideally want to do some sort of like online stuff, marketing, to hopefully at least build an audience prior, and hopefully that would push for us to get a better launch, because that's a big way for indies to do that. But then also, I don't know, maybe people aren't interested in our game, or maybe, you know, we get bad algorithms. I also want to do like early access release on one of the Steam early access releases, because generally that's a great way of also building wish lists and stuff like that. And of course, wish lists are like a big thing. This is also, to preface, it's going to be a free game. Okay, we've already decided it's going to be a free game. We may invest actual money into it outside of like studying, but it's not going to be paid. So hopefully that should also generate, you know what I mean? Like, anybody can play it then, as long as it runs well. So it's a good thing to make a test map and then modify stuff based on test map. Yeah. So we've done a prototype. The prototype was alright with some major issues, and then we kind of like, we've taken what we liked about the prototype, and we're kind of completely remaking it from ground up, because we only had 2 weeks to make the prototype. In 2 weeks, you're kind of rushing everything. The emoji didn't show, no. It didn't, unfortunately. I know a couple people that are going to be uploading the game paid. I think there were a couple reasons we decided not to do paid, though. One of them, like, this is like our, what do you call it? Our like push to try and get into the industry using Gaia for your game, WW. I don't know if you've come across my channel then. I have uploaded not many, but a couple of Gaia videos. I doubt would use Gaia for this one. Thanks for watching. I doubt that I'll be watching. Watching. Yeah. I was lucky that I even made that video. That one did pretty good. I would love to. I feel like. So our one's mostly indoors. I think we're gonna have outdoor sections, but it's not like our focus isn't outdoors, nor our focus isn't to be able to see much of the outdoors. If we can do like as little exterior as possible, it would be ideal. But that would be good for performance as well. Anyway, but yeah, but no, we're doing 3 because we want to try and push into getting. And making the textures, we're gonna be doing not hyper realism, but semi-realism, mostly realism. Yeah. Here's an example. I'm not too sure if I might have to change this. So what we're gonna be doing maybe later this week is we're gonna have a model, and then with that model, we're going to so we're just going to be something like, I don't know, chair or something, right? And us 3 artists are going to make a chair based off of a reference, copy the textures and stuff like that, and that's going to judge to see where we're all at. So depending on where we're all at in terms of abilities will depend. But ideally, something would be like this. This is a bit more hyper-realistic, so I'd potentially change it. But this could be an example. Ideally, although I've spent a lot of time on this, so I definitely want to. But a lot of that was like testing and stuff like that, so I would want to spend no more than like 3 hours or so. So these are some jugs that I was making for the game. Oh. Yeah, thanks. Yep, I tested it all in Marmoset. I'd usually use Substance, but I want to get into some more Marmoset. Marmoset has some really good pros and cons. Yeah, we've got all the stuff here, so. And I see. There's not too much stuff, but I mean, it all adds up, of course. So, good. If I fully extended some of these, you'd probably. Sort of see. So some of these are like preset materials and stuff. So it's not like completely made from the ground up. Pretty bad at texturing, so what I am doing is just texturing the normals as paintbrush to make everything else look like a painting. The tree trunks and stuff. Oh, that's pretty cool. I feel like in terms of like ability for texturing, of course, it's time. It's time and repetition, right? Obviously, not repeating at the same level. You make something, and then you just like try to one-up it, and then try to one-up it, and then try to one-up it, and that's hopefully gonna, ramp you up in terms of ability. But also, a lot of it, I gotta be honest, like there is what do you call it? A point where this is and isn't accurate, but I do feel like the programs you use to texture does have an impact on your capabilities. Not necessarily. I think it's like when you're learning to texture, using programs that are good for texturing is gonna do massive things. Because like what do you call it? It's like if you use Blender, for example, and you are trying to create like hyper-realism textures, and in order to create that you're using texture painting. Yeah, I use a Blender occasionally as well. And if you're just texturing, and the only method of texturing you're using is texture painting, which texture painting is good if you're trying to do stylized textures. But if you're trying to do like hyper-realism, the amount of effort and like overall like knowledge of painting and those sorts of things in order to create hyper realistic textures within just the texture painting, like that's going to be limiting you know what I mean? Like there's going to be a point where you might be able to reach that, but that is going to be a limitation. So some people will disagree with me on that. I will stand strong though. But No. Exactly, yeah. So, I don't know. Oh, you're doing Roblox? Yeah, that's fair. Do you use something like Substance Painter? If you use something like Substance Painter, that is a great start at pushing you to be able to create like pretty good looking stuff. Then it's just like being able to know how to utilize everything. That sounds bad, but I'm beginner, so yeah, fair. You gotta start somewhere, right? That's not to say just because you use Substance Painter you're good, and it's not to say that Substance Painter is necessarily the best thing. Yeah. Oops, not designer. This one's painter. There's a project that I'm trying to do, and I've just been having issues with the bake, and I'm trying to figure out what's causing it. Having issues in Marmoset, and Marmoset's usually the best one, so that was kind of frustrating me. But I don't have anything like decent. I think this one's alright though, I guess. This isn't like this one. Bear in mind was in my prototype thing. It's paid though, yeah. This is something that I was doing. This one was very short. Your budget is your time, to be honest. That's fair, yeah. You can do pretty good stuff. Like, there's a lot of places where I could like improve this. This is not particularly good, especially like the model. The model itself isn't great as well. Like this, I think this combined from start to finish was probably like hour and a half, 2 hours. The model, UV, texture, and then import it into the game. So, because you just gotta be pretty quick. When we're like 2 weeks. It's gonna be, well, this was, I don't know if we're gonna utilize this. I want to also, if I were to continue doing this, I'd use more than like 3 different textures effectively. I'd kind of change them up quite a bit. But this is, there's no like normal thing that I could say that this is. It's a contraption, effectively. Hard to explain. Basically, what it does is in our game, you're going to be able to detect ghosts and stuff like that. And so you'd go and use this, and whenever you get close to ghosts, this bell will ring and go ding 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 ding, and stuff like that. But there's not something easy to explain. I think the player doesn't mind too much about texture to realism. I'd say style makes it look nicer. Yeah. Style, it's a very 50-50 thing. So, realism is a style within itself. But the key thing that you need to focus on is stylistic consistency. If you struggle with stylistic consistency, it doesn't matter what style you choose, that's going to be what you struggle with. So, you can't have most objects being flat colors and then having a couple objects being textured, for example, and vice versa. And, you know, if you're going for realism, all objects have to look realistic. You can't have, like, cel-shaded objects, for example, combined. So it's mostly, I think it doesn't matter too much. I think I would say realism would probably be, like, if I were to categorize key styles, I would put realism to be, like, hyper-realism is its own sort of thing, but if I were to put realism something, I'd put it like the second. It's sort of like the middle. You know, you got flat colors. It's super easy. Like it's hard to do bad with flat colors, but flat colors can only provide a certain level of interest and immersion. You know what I mean? Like you can't have like if you're trying to do like a super immersive game, it's hard to make a game feel immersive when the colors are flat, for example. As opposed to that, if you're doing like sort of mostly realistic stuff, it's easier to feel immersed. To an extent. I'm not meaning like immersed as in you're just really enjoying the game. I mean immersed as in you're there and like everything's impacting you. That's why a lot of like big immersive games you're gonna see are pushing towards realism. Then realism's the next thing, because if you're going for realism, just search up what the object you're trying to make is, and then you're literally just trying to recreate it. You know? If I'm trying to make, for example, like an Anzac poppy, I got a reference there. That's why realism's actually not too bad. and then like the next hardest thing is sort of like stylized, like heavily stylized style, where if that can be like cell shaded to like, you know, maybe like Pixar type stuff. You know, that stuff's tricky because then you gotta be all. There's a lot of those like maybe hand painted, and they've got their own like special rule sets and stuff like that. And then everybody has to be consistent. You know, it's like drawing a stylistic characters. It's hard to be able to match everybody stylistically, and that's why I'd put stylized stuff actually being probably within reason the hardest, because the bigger the team is, the harder to retain that style. Stuff like League of Legends, you know, maybe like Valorant, stuff like you know, you could name a couple ones like that. I'm just using the paintbrush style on my textures. Yeah, makes it look really hammy. Yeah, that's fair. Something that could be interesting to look into would be like UCU paint. I've never used it, so I can't say much, but I've heard good things. It's just I've never had a reason to use it. So this is sort of like Substance Painter, but within Blender, effectively, and free. So it's all like layers, and you got your PBR and masking and stuff like that. I was wondering if you should make it realistic or paintbrush style, because realistic is easier, but looks scamier. Paintbrush style. Oh, you're wondering if you should make it realistic or paintbrush style, because realistic is easier, but looks scamier. Paintbrush style will look great, but a big effort. Well, it depends. Depends on if you can achieve it. I would like. There's no point where realism looks scammy. I would never call realism scammy. I would say it is 100% real, like based upon your ability. Is everything, right? If you suck at making stylistically, you know, paintbrush textures and stuff like that, you know, just because you're choosing to do paintbrush doesn't mean that's good. You know what I mean? Like if your specialty is like realism textures and stuff like that, but it's in Roblox, so it doesn't really mix with the graphics. Yeah, that's the thing that I don't like about Roblox. Okay, that's why I've never used Roblox or anything like that. Is because it completely limits you. I would never go. I guess in that department, I would say it is kind of scammy. Not scammy, but I wouldn't call it scammy, but I'd call it just bad. Like, it just looks bad, because if you're trying to do realistic and then you got like blocky characters that are running like whoop, 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 you know, it's like, that kind of just looks like really bad. And then at the same, yeah, I don't know. It's super limiting, and then you've got limits to like your texture and model sizes and resolutions and all these sorts of things. That it's just like, you can do realistic looking stuff, but it's just limited because it's meant to be able to run on bloody mobiles. I'm just using it because the player base is already cooked, so my damn, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I have nothing against people using Roblox, of course. I'm just saying that I could never use it because it's like, if you want it, I think it's easier to make a game and do decent on Roblox, but like as opposed to like making something in Unreal Engine or Unity, I think those are a lot harder. And then to be able to market and create, I guess, the similar amount of success, I think is a lot harder, because Roblox does a lot. Bear in mind, Roblox is only made for within Roblox, and everything kind of is based towards that. It does a lot of heavy lifting. But at the same time, that's not to say it's easy, but it is a lot. It does a lot of the tricky stuff for you, you know? But I think it's one of those where it's like it's there's a limit to what it's capable of, you know? Like, you could say, you know, yes, if I wanted to make a, you know, Counter-Strike based game, I could make a Counter-Strike based game. Or if I wanted to make a racing game, I could make a racing game. Or something like that. But then the amount of, like, depth and complexity is limited. So it's and then there's other limitations. But then and then, you know, I wouldn't like put that as an outlier, because there's limitations to Unity, there's limitations to Unreal, there's limitations to Godot. Like, as much as people say Godot's like everyone should be using Godot, like, you know, I see so many people that are just like, Unreal Engine games are all bad, never play Unreal Engine games. I can't believe, like with CD Projekt Red moving to Unreal Engine, everyone's just like, well, not everybody, okay? There's a vocal minority that are like, it's on Unreal, that's such a mistake, oh, the game's gonna be cooked. You know, every game on Unreal has been bad this far, but it's like, that's not true. There's plenty of games, and there's plenty of successful games. Like, look at Marvel Rivals. You don't look at Marvel Rivals and go, that is an Unreal Engine game, that looks generic. No, it's quite different. So that you can, you know, push yourself away from those issues. It's just, at the moment, Unreal Engine's quite new, and bear in mind, every game that's on UE5 has had less than 3 years of development, or has just been ported, because Unreal Engine came out in 2022. And when you look at these big AAA developers, where they're spending, like, at a minimum 3 years, it is now only just been, or even less than 3 years, to be honest, technically, if you're counting months, right? Not just flat years. Like, if a AAA company is spending at least 3 years to make a game, to 7 years, any game that you see now out of Unreal Engine is not really indicative of, I guess, the capabilities of AAA development. So it's either just poor optimization because they're spending such a short amount of time, or it's a small team, and then they've got their own issues. It's just that as the game count increases, the amount of bad games is increasing. Just inevitable. Not saying the games are bad, it's not up to the quality of AAA. Yeah. It's more the amount of people that are making games, really. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, though. Like, I've played games that are, like, feature-wise bad, but are still fun, you know what I mean? I think, yeah. But there is junk. Like, people do upload junk. Like, you see some, like, real cruddy AI games and stuff that are getting made and stuff like that. And you're just like, that's junk. You know, pure, as you would call it, asset flips. I have no issue with people using assets. But if your game is, like, 90% asset and 10% just sticking the assets together, that is not a good game. You know? Although I sort of disagree. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have interesting opinions, to be honest, on asset games. You know what I mean? I have done a asset, not like a game, but for example, I recently worked on a level in Unreal Engine where I was only using assets. I think I made one asset for it, and then the rest were over 2 asset packs. It's a bit tricky whether you'd classify it as an asset flip. I mean, the whole point of it, right, is for level design, so it would take way too long to model that all those assets. We only had, I think I worked on it over like 4 weeks or something, and it's not meant to be a game. I don't know if I'd really go. I think with the purpose of it just being the level, and it's only like, it's to show my ability to create a narrative via a level. It's not like a functional playable game or anything like that. There's no purpose to it. Because of that, I don't really mind. But I think But I think if I were to, like, if that was meant to be an actual game, would I go, damn, that's an asset flip? I think it's tricky to really stick a, what do you call it? I think if you're just downloading a bunch of stuff and they're like stylistically even, they don't really work together, you know what I mean? There's like no effort put into it. Then yeah, I think like it's a bit of a tricky thing, but like if you are a programmer, right? And then most, if not all, of your asset, like visual 3D assets are you know, packs and stuff like that, I wouldn't really have any complaint, you know what I mean? If you have a purpose within a game and you're not just utilizing assets, like if I was making a game and I had a programmer and I was the artist and then all my assets were packs and stuff like that, then that I'd call kind of just bad. But if I had my own purpose within it, you know what I mean? Like, so for example, with that, I was doing the levels. It was all based around the levels. The only focus of that project were levels. I could have used any asset pack. I could have just used blocks, for example. I mean, I'd probably get worse marks because of that. But like visually, it doesn't matter what it looks like visually. It's about the level design. Then it doesn't really matter, you know? If you are a programmer, I don't think you have to spend all this time extra doing models, and then you've got really bad looking models because you're not a 3D modeler, and then that limits your game. I think that's, like, you know, a bad mindset. So at that point, I wouldn't mind people using asset packs. I don't know. I think if I look at it super focused, I think there's a lot of nuance with asset packs and flipping and stuff like that. I think it's hard to draw a line as to where to classify something as an asset flip. I think it's easy, like, visually to see. Like, if you see somebody that has, like, you know, you hop on like Fab and they've just obviously used Fab as like an asset store for Unreal, for example. And you see like, oh, they've obviously just used like the first 3 ones that you can click on, and stylistically it doesn't even make sense. You got like some realistic assets and you got some like, you know, like full on just flat colors and stuff like that. You're just like, that's a complete asset flip, that looks terrible. But I do think there is a point when using asset packs and stuff like that isn't like a bad thing. I think there's, and I've got no issue. And you know, it could also just be additions, you know. Maybe you could drop this in, but I probably have to go soon. No, you're good. I'm ending stream as well. I'm ending stream like very soon, because I'm quite tired and I got a meeting tomorrow with my team. So don't worry, Chief. I think game dev, there's a lot of nuance and stuff like that. There's so much like game dev stuff. I don't know. You do game dev as well. Like, you know, there's a lot of nuance. A lot of these things where there's not stuff that's necessarily just one thing. And everything's kind of sort of have to read between it all. Either way, I will end stream now though. I think, because I've done a bit of blocking out with my project. I've done texture work, so if you are interested, Chiseled Mango, to see some of the texturing process. Once the VOD of the stream is out, feel free to watch the first, I think, if you're interested, the first hour I'm doing texturing and I'm just adding to the textures. I'm not texturing from the ground up, but I am adding to it. So if you want to see a bit of behind the scenes of how I created those jugs, there's a bit of that at the start. But otherwise, unfortunately, there's nothing too interesting. So yeah. Best of luck with your game though, Chiseled Mango. I hope that goes well for you, and I hope you get success. And thanks for watching some of my videos as well as the stream. Thanks for popping by, Amy, Fleep, and Strawberry Bunny Queen. I appreciate you guys all popping by and chatting. And yeah, thank you guys all for lurking and everything. But yeah, nice talking to you as well. Patches of Mango. Yeah. Strawberry Bunny Queen. There was somebody that came in earlier. That's appeared a couple times. Sometimes watches my stream. But yeah. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching. You guys have a good one. I'll probably be streaming similar times tomorrow. Probably more work on my level. Unless, well, you guys will hear how my meeting goes. So yeah, but yeah. You guys all have a good one, and we'll catch you guys next time. Later.